Making sure my mic is on. That's what I forgot. That to make sure my mic is on. So we're gonna get started here. We have we're just gonna get over a closed Airbnb deal today. We're gonna start here. Gonna make it pretty fast. We have family in town. So I wanna make it pretty short. You just put it- Microphone check, we are live. Hey, Leon, how you doing, brother? Hope you're well, man. Hope you're following today. We're gonna go over a closed Airbnb deal, how we did it, how our cash flows Airbnb without cash, without credit, how you can do it too. And we're just gonna go over it step by step and how you can start doing it today, okay? So if you're in the Facebook group, maybe you never, first time watching, we have hundreds of recorded replays in the guide section or the feature section. Basically what we go over are how to strategies on how to flip and cash flow houses without getting into debt, without using cash, without experience, and how you can get started today. So check out the guides, check out the feature section for the most recent replays. I have over 100 and maybe 20 plus replays of training. So check that out. It's free. And it's in Best Chicago Wholesale Deals live Facebook group on Facebook, right? So we're gonna get started here. If you guys have any questions while this is going, you can put it in the comments and I'll get to it. So today is Monday's presentation. So hope you guys are blessed and doing well. If you guys don't know already, we've been wholesaling or we've been doing real estate deals for about maybe 14 years now. We've done everything from fix and flip, new construction, buy and hold, Airbnb, owner financing, rent to own, wholesaling. So we've got probably over 1,000 transactions. I don't know exactly how many under our belt. But if you're looking for deals in Chicago market, you can go to our buyers list here at bestchicagoWholesaleDeal.com/buyers. We are working in like 5 different markets right now. So if you're in a different market, just reach out. Maybe we're there. Maybe we have some deals there. Submit your deal. If you have a deal, maybe need help selling it, you can send it to us. We can check it out, see if the numbers work, and if they don't work, we'll let you know what number does work. Free training on how to flip and cash flow houses without cash or credit. If you haven't went through it yet, KingdomBuyerAcademy.com. We teach you how to wholesale, how to do rent to own, how to do straight options, how to pick up Airbnbs like we're going to talk about today without cash or credit. So check that out. It's free. Put that together for you guys. And today we're just going to go over successful closed transaction. Okay. So today we're going to go over a successful closed Airbnb. And then we're going to go over like, hey, how we found it, how we negotiated, how we analyzed it. And I'm going to just get straight to the point, right? And just give you everything you need that you can start doing this today. So we're gonna go over a closed deal, Airbnb, how we found the deal, how we negotiated it. We're gonna go over how we analyzed it, how we profited from it, how we manage it, how we're gonna be making 500 a month or 6,000 a year increase with no cash, no credit invested on our end, no getting into debt. And then we're gonna show you like, hey, how you, if you like to do this yourself, or you can partner with us and we do all the management headache for you, right? So, and we're gonna talk about being, how you can be a partner. We have people that just, close the Airbnb deal with the seller, and then they send us the deal to manage it, and then we split the profits. So that's something that we're going to talk about as well. So we're going to go into the deal. Itself. So let's go into Airbnb. Oh, my computer is running so slow. This is the newest deal that we got. So this is basically, well, I'm not in the listing, sorry. I'm in the calendar. Let me go to the listing. So we have a property in 4300 Ford City. So basically, this property here, this is the newest one. We just basically got this from Success, right? So we have a landlord that we are doing 4 deals with already. We're managing the Airbnb. So how we do it is basically we're getting like a percentage of profit split. So we're getting 20% of the total revenue that comes in, and then we manage everything, right? So this only comes from building rapport, having success, getting experience, right? So the reason why we got this one is because our past success with the landlord, right? So the how we found the landlord was actually through our buyers list. So she bought deals from us in the past, and the reason she came on was basically we sold a deal to her, and then we told her what we do. Hey, we also manage Airbnbs, right? So it's very important that you're wholesaling deals, you're adding, buyers to your email list, that you tell them everything you can do, right? You can, if you're going to go down the route of managing Airbnbs, then you should open your mouth and basically tell them, right? So that's what we do. Everyone we talk to, hey, you got, anytime I get a landlord on the phone, hey, have you ever thought about turning your vacant unit into an Airbnb? You can make a lot more money than a normal rental. Like a lot of them don't want to do it because it's a headache, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of management, right? So that's where we come in and we make it a lot easier. We basically handle all the management headaches, right? So basically how we found the deal again was we were doing regular wholesale deals. We had a deal under contract, and this buyer came many years ago and bought a deal from us. That's how they got on their buyers list, and we built a relationship with the buyer, and we're friends with her, and we basically, we have four management deals with her now, and that's what you want to do is like every buyer that comes on, if you're going to go and start managing Airbnbs, tell them what you do, right? You got to open your mouth. Every buyer, like in the beginning, when you're brand new and you're adding buyers to your buyers list every day, you should be calling every single one. We don't do that anymore just because we have so many, but in the beginning, you should call every single buyer, ask them what they're looking for, see how you can help them. Maybe they're a landlord already, have units, that maybe that they're looking to Airbnb, right? And that's how we found the deal. How we negotiated it was basically again 20%. So you can basically structure the deal however you negotiate it. So however you like. We had deals where we're getting 30%, 25%. Because we have repeat business, we're only doing 20% on this one, and you can kind of structure it however you like too. Like we've had deals where we said, hey, the first 1,000 if at the first 1,000 goes to you, anything over that, we split 50-50. Or the first, whatever the situation, every deal is gonna be a little bit different. We've had it where the first 2,000 goes to the homeowner, anything after that, we get 70%, owner gets 30%, so you can structure it like however you want, right? So you have to be flexible with it. We don't just say a rigid, 20%, 30%, but we're flexible, right? We'll say, you can even put clauses in like, hey, if you don't earn a certain amount, our management is free this month, so you don't have to pay anything. So that gives them kind of that will give them peace of mind, right? That I'm working for free and I'm not making anything if I'm not making a certain amount, right? So you can structure these deals however you negotiate it with the owner, right? And if you do a good job, I mean, you can have deals on here for, you can manage deals for the next 5, 6, 7 years. We had a deal where we've had at least for 5 years already, just managing it, right? And you can get long-term cash flow basically from managing deals, doing a good job, and making sure that everything is managed correctly, right? So how we analyzed it, so we use a number of tools. So as far as negotiating, the number one thing is building rapport, building a friendship with the homeowner, and because it's a long-term relationship, right? You gotta like each other, you gotta trust each other. If I feel like the homeowner is gonna be not we're not gonna get along, then I feel like we should just not do the deal, right? So this is a long-term relationship. You're always gonna be going back and forth with the owner, managing the deal, sending them reports and everything, how much they're making. So this is, the main thing here is like, hey, if the only way a seller is gonna let you manage their Airbnb is if they like you and they trust you, right? If you don't have that, this is, you got to get on the phone with them. You have to build rapport. You have to maybe even meet them at their property and walk the property with them, right? So this is a long-term relationship, and that's probably the most important thing. Like a lot of people say, I can't get any Airbnbs. Or what are you doing? While making offers, I'm like, okay, are you talking to anyone on the phone? Are you building rapport? Are you meeting with anybody? No one's gonna let you manage your Airbnb for a year if they don't like you, right? It's just common sense. How we analyze the deal. So you can use AirDNA rentalizer. It's a free tool that you can get. You just log in. It's free to log in, and it's like just a tool. I guess I'm not logged in. But just like a free tool, it will give you like kind of an estimate on what they believe the property can get per year. So this is pretty cool. If I just type in the address and I put in the bedrooms, the bathrooms, how many guests you can sleep, it's going to give me an estimate, right? So you have 30,000 in total revenue, 152 daily rate, 55% occupancy. So I'm going to use this. Then I'm also going to go to Airbnb itself. And what I like to do is just put Airbnb and then the zip code or where the property is. And then just go on Airbnb, look for properties similar and that are closest nearby your property. And again, I like to put the zip code in. And then I'm gonna leave the dates blank and hit search. And then I'm gonna find like try to find 3 or 4 good comps that are similar. And I'm gonna use the filters. So I know this is an entire place. It's not a bedroom or a shared space. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And this is like an apartment. It's not a house. So houses will definitely get more. So I'm gonna put apartment. and hit show state. So there's 116. And I'm gonna zoom in. So what I like to do is get like a second map, of. Right, so you know where it's at. So you see the properties here. It's like right located, right below Marquette Park, towards the 50 highway. So right about here, let's see, it's right about here. So we see we only have 2 houses, so I want to zoom out to get maybe 3 or 4 decent comps. So we have 8. So we're trying to look for similar size. So this is the actual property here. It's 2 bedroom, 2 bathrooms. So this is it here. You guys can see some pictures. Here's a 2 bed, 2 bathroom. We can use this one. And here's another 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom with a lot of reviews. And there's one more. There's no reviews on this one, so I don't really want to. What I want to do is find ones with a lot of reviews, because I know they're established already, so they know their numbers. So I'm gonna. Here's another one, the 3rd one, and then a 4th one that has only 4 reviews. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna basically go in here. You're gonna look at their calendar and see how much they're making. You're gonna pretend you're a guest that you're booking the property, and you're gonna do that. You're basically gonna do that for every single try to do that for every month for the next like 3 months. You can do it for 6 months and see how much you're getting. So this one's getting 200 a night, right? So I'm going to jot that down, and then I'm going to go into maybe July and put a weekend in and see how much you're getting. So 203. So it looks like the same. So now I'm going to go to August and just pick a weekend, 204. So she's not using any like pricing softwares. We use like pricing softwares to change the price every night. You'll see some days are like $100 and some nights are like 400, depending on demand. So we use pricing softwares that hotels use. So this one is not using that. You can see it's like the same price every night. So they're not going to make much at all. So they're at 204 a night, and looks like they're booked for June. July is pretty open. So June is booked, July is open. So I'm gonna jot that down, right? So what you want to do is, take a notepad and then jot down the average nightly rate you're getting for each of these properties. So you take, you're gonna average it out. So, and then you're gonna also look at how high in demand they are. So how much demand does this property have? So look at that. All of June is booked. All of July is booked. August is almost 60% booked. So this property is really hot. So you can see he's priced a little lower though, right? So the other one wasn't getting any bookings, and then this one is priced at 183. So that's something we want to jot down, right? You want to, take a notepad or something while you're doing this, and you're gonna write down everything you find, right? So what I found was, 204 was pretty high. She didn't have really bookings, and then the one at 180 was fully booked, right? So you should, what I do is like what I find, I copy these links. Like I'll shoot an email to the owner. So while I'm doing this, I'll actually be in my email. And I'll copy these links, because I'm going to send this to the owner, right? So look at this one, 180 per night, fully booked, June, July, August is 60% booked, September, what are we getting? So this one's not using pricing software either. He's just looks like a flat rate of 180 almost. How I know is if the nightly rate changes every single time, right? So these guys are missing out on probably thousands and thousands of dollars of revenue, more using pricing software. Pricing software is important because high demand nights, you're going to be the highest price, you're going to get the most money, and then low demand nights, you're not, you're going to be the lowest price automatically because no one's booking. So it does it automatically without you doing it, right? So this guy's 180. He's basically fully booked for the next couple months. And then we got, this is the same guy. This is the one we looked at. And you can do this for like the next, if they're getting the same night, you're just gonna jot it down. But you can do this for like the next 6 months and then write it down, 6 months average, 200 per night. And he's fully booked. Right. And then you're gonna keep going the next 3-4 comps. And then we're gonna send this report to the owner. We're gonna show him everything we found. Hey, look at this guy, he's making 200 a night, this guy's making 180 a night. I'm not gonna, do all 4 comps right in this call because it would take me like 30 minutes or so. But let's average it out. Let's say the 200 was too high, the 180 was just right. So you're probably going to price it around the 185, maybe 190 mark, depending on the other comps we look at. So 180, and let's just go with 180, and then times 20. We do times 20, so it means 20 nights booked out of the month, 10 of it's vacant. That's what we're basically seeing on our occupancy rates. So they're going to get 3,600 a year in revenue, and then you times that by 12, you're looking at 43,200, right? So that is a lot higher than what the rentalizer came up with, 30,003, right? So it's very important, if you're going to get comps, the best thing to do is to look at active properties on Airbnb making money today, right? The tool AirDNA is cool. It sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's way off. Like this one looks like it's pretty way off. But 43,200 is a lot more than the 30,000 AirDNA is giving you. So if you do have an owner interested, in potentially Airbnb in their home, this is what we do. We just go in here and then we're going to get estimate on what we believe they'll make. We're never going to guarantee, how much they're going to make, but we're going to get like an estimate, like about what, and then we're going to send them the links. We're going to send them how much they're getting per night, the averages, and so the owner sees, like, hey, yeah, this is actually possible, right? So that's how we analyze the deals. How we manage it and profit. Basically, we're just putting them on Airbnb. That's all we're doing. We're not putting them on VRBO. We're not putting them on all these different crazy websites. I know people got it on like 30 websites and they're always stressed out because they're trying to manage 30 different websites. We just put it on Airbnb and that's it. We used to put it on VRBO. We used to try Booking and all these other websites. But what we found is a lot of fraud. People like, booking the property and then they get a credit card fraud and they get the money back. And we just, Airbnb does a great job of verifying people. I never have any fraud issues with Airbnb. I've had one on booking.com where they actually booked the place, they got in the house, and all of a sudden I get an email saying that their account was fraudulent and they're already in the house, like, having a party, right? So that's why I just completely avoid all the other websites. I just focus on Airbnb itself, right? And we do list it on Airbnb. We use quite a bit of tools to help us. So tools that we connect to Airbnb are, it used to be called Smart BNB, but now it's called hospitable.com. What this is like AI technology. So it does take quite a bit of time to set up, but once you have it up and running, it's pretty cool. It's like AI technology when somebody, so I can show you here, guest experience. So we go in here and then we create like messages that we send to the guests. So the first morning that after they check in, this is what's sent. After they check out, we send this. Check-in instructions are sent 24 hours ahead of time. And every property has like a different check-in instructions, of course. And then we have, like if someone asks, hey, where's the garage opener? The AI will automatically respond with, as long as you, if you get a repeat message all the time, we have the AI respond to it because we just save the message. So it's pretty cool. It does take quite a bit of time to set up. Like we create like house manuals for each property. So every property has a very detailed house manual with all the details of the property. And this just saves so much time, right? Like this is going to save you, responding to every single message. Like a lot of the guests that check in and out, we do have a VA that responds to messages the AI can't answer, but most of the questions, I would say 90%, 95%, the AI is going to get and answer correctly, which is pretty cool. So if they ask a question about Wi-Fi, boom, reply with this question. If they ask a question about restaurants, reply with this one. If they ask a question about pets, parking, we have pretty much almost every common question answered and replied to automatically, right? So hospital is pretty cheap too. I think you're looking at paying about 10 to maybe $20 a month per property. So it's really cheap, not expensive at all. You just have to connect your Airbnb account, sync it, and then create the templates. A lot of them they pre-make, but a lot of them you have to edit based upon your property. Of course, you're not going to have the same answer for every property, of course. So you have to edit a lot of it to match, right? And then I was talking about the pricing. So we use Price Labs, which is like similar to what kind of like hotels use for pricing. And Price Labs is going to be the thing automatically changing prices every day for you. So you don't have to do it, right? So July 4th, you're going to get one property may make 500 a night. That same property on Wednesday next week is only getting like $90, right? So that's the power of the price of pricing. If you're not professionally priced, where you're always changing the price every day, you're going to lose out on a ton of money. Why? Because like I said, those guys get just getting the 180, 200 a night. One of those nights they could have gotten $400, $500. They're missing out on getting $300 extra in a night. That's a lot of money, right? That pays the electricity, the ComEd, the insurance, $300, right? So it's very important. So if we go in the calendar here, you can see every day 270, prices reduced $99. So and we do a little trick where every Wednesday that's not booked in the next 7 days, we'll just cut the price to $70, $90. So you can see the price just fluctuating all the time. You see that? It's always just see the weekends a lot higher, 336, 330, 354, and the weekdays are lower. You see that? And then summer is hot, but when we go into the later months like December, January, you're going to see prices so cheap because that's the low demand days, right? So Price Labs, you basically connect your account and then you can create rules. Like I have rules for every property. Like, hey, if the next 7 days are unbooked, I want you to slash prices by 50%, right? If there's the next 30 days, if something is not booked on the weekend, I want you to slash prices by 20%. So you can do that automatically, set that up. So every property that you put into the system, it's going to automatically slash prices where you don't have to think about it anymore, right? And then we automatically, like every Wednesday, hey, if the Wednesday is not booked in the next 7 days, we're going to be like $70, $90, like more than 50% off on some properties, just because we're trying to get bookings is the most important thing, and that's what's going to keep the cash flow coming in, right? So those are the tools. We hospital, price labs for pricing, hospital for AI technology, and then we have a VA on top of this that's inside Airbnb itself, answering questions the AI is not answering or cannot answer. There's still some, specific questions, of course, hey, what's the distance from here to here, right? So sometimes you gotta respond yourself. Okay, and then two other things you need are going to be, of course, a cleaning company, right? If you guys are in Chicago, need cleaners, of course, we work with cleaners. So if you need that, reach out to us, we can connect you. Other things are other ways to get cleaners, which I have found successful, is TaskRabbit. Basically, it's a nationwide. It's kind of like a Uber for tasks. So you can like hire somebody on the app. The app takes a little bit of money from us, takes a little bit of money from the task person, and they do, and they're rated. Like they have ratings. You can see how successful they did other jobs and all that. But TaskRabbit you can use for not just cleaners but also contractors. So that's the two key players, in your Airbnb business are going to be full-time cleaners, and then contractors. And you should have a backup, have a good cleaner, have two of them just in case an emergency happens, and then have two good handymen that can kind of do a little bit of everything as a backup, right? And you're going to find, if you're in Chicago, we have, you can reach out, we can connect you with cleaners and contractors. But if you can't find one, go to TaskRabbit, and you can sort them by ratings. That you see the ones that have already 1,000 reviews, 5-star ratings. Of course, you want to work with someone that's already reviewed, has done some jobs for people, and is priced reasonably, right? And this is where you're going to get your boots on the ground. So, and this is nationwide. So yeah, we've had cleaners, and we've had Airbnbs in Wisconsin and Indiana, and we actually had one in Mexico. We basically hired people through the app, right? And people that were trusted, embedded already, and basically we had them go to the property and manage everything for us, right? So that's the thing, that's the team. So you got TaskRabbit, cleaners, handyman, you got your AI technology with hospital, pricing softwares with Price Lab. And that's basically like the systems and tools we're using to set everything up. It does take, and to get your first one set up is the hardest, because you got to figure everything out. It's all this tech stuff, technology, right? But once you get one set up and you put them in the system, the second one be easier, right? The third one be easier. Like we can get Airbnb set up in like less than an hour with all the technology. So we just get an Airbnb, we set it up, we plug it in, and it's in the system, and less than an hour we can have everything up and running. I'm talking about the technology wise, not the staging and all that, and furniture. And as far as like staging, like helping with staging furniture, for a really good company that we recommend owners is Port Furniture Outlet. So what they do is they rent furniture, and they then resell refurbished furniture. So it's not brand new, but you're getting it more than like 50% off, because it's like used furniture, but it looks brand new, right? So we usually use Port Furniture to furnish houses, if we're paying for it ourselves, or we send it to the owners and, hey, use Port, they're awesome, and they can actually deliver and set up everything. So if you pay them a little bit extra, it's not that expensive, they'll actually come deliver the furniture and actually assemble it in the house. So it's like staging as well, where they can bring everything in, right? So we basically use them for couches, beds, dining tables, chairs, complete home setups. So they have a bedroom sets, dining sets, living room sets. So we just basically buy a set. So we'll just go to living room sets. And then we'll price, maybe get this one for $579, depending on, so every outlet's a little bit different. This one's in Carroll Stream, so find the one that's closest to you, with a zip code, and they're all gonna have different furniture, right? So that's how we do it, man. I mean, that's all the tools we use, how we manage it, we profit it. So this property, we're getting about 20% of revenue. So if we're gonna get 43,000, hopefully a year. So let's say that we end up, maybe we just end up with 35,000, right? So we get 0.2 of that. That's 7,000 a year. So we end up, but if we end up making 43,000, we're going to be at 8,600 a year. So we're actually be making more. So it'd be about 716 a month cash flow, not 500 a month. And that's without investing in our own cash, without any of our own credit. And is there certain situations that we do invest our own cash? Yes. If we weren't trying to, like, we had a deal where the homeowner couldn't furnish it, needed extra a couple $1,000s to finish. So we just fronted the money and we got the money back on the guest checking in, right? So you can do that depending if you have cash available to invest, right? Like I have one now where I'm going to be investing maybe 5,000 up front to help the owner furnish it completely and fix some repairs to the property. And the reason I'm doing that because I see the numbers, right? I see that, okay, I'm easily going to make, 10,000 a year off this property. So why not invest 5,000 to the owner, right? So how would you like to do this yourself and let us do all the management headache for you? If you don't want to set up all these systems and tools, guess what? We have a partnership where if you join, if you close a seller, get a contract signed to manage Airbnb, you can send it to us and we manage it for you. You're just basically communicating with the homeowner. You can become a partner and reach out. So we have people that are just closing deals with the seller, getting the contract signed, sending it to us. So we do all the management behind the scenes, and then we split the profit on the profit coming in. So we'll split it 50-50. All right. So you can do that too. If you're interested in that, reach out to me. This is my number, my email. 773-417-6988. That's my email. You can reach out, or you can DM me on Facebook as well. That's another way you can reach out. So we're going to end with just some biblical teachings on business leadership, developing leaders in your business, and how to grow, basically creating a climate of developing leaders. So the only way you can grow your business and basically remove yourself out of your business eventually is developing leaders inside of your business, right? Developing leaders, whether that's how we do it, employees, or we mentor and partner with other people, right? So 1 Chronicles 12:38, it says, all these men of war who could keep ranks came to Hebron with a loyal heart to make David king over all of Israel. All the rest of Israel were of one mind to make David king. So this was when David wasn't king yet. And then everyone, all of Israel came together to make him king, and they became all in agreement, right? So 1 Chronicles 12:38. So we can conclude from the list of warriors who joined David at Ziklag that his ragtag team was diverse, loyal, and hungry for victory. So if you guys remember, if you guys read the Old Testament, Saul was was trying to kill David, and he was running from him, right? So Saul was the king, and David was basically hiding from him. David could have easily defeated King Saul and killed him many times, but he didn't, because he was the king, right? He didn't want to disobey God by doing that. So he had a diverse team that was loyal and hungry, and that followed him into the cave, into running from the King Saul and his army, right? So So what did David do to reproduce his leadership in them? So how does a David, a king, get people to follow him into a cave, right? Because they believed in his vision, they believed in who he was, they saw his loyalty, they saw his character, his integrity, right? So what did David do to reproduce his leadership in them? And what if you guys read the Old Testament, and I recommend everyone should be reading the Bible, because you get the most wisdom, the most business leadership, the most growth, just reading the scriptures in the Bible, right? So what did he do to reproduce his leadership in them? If you guys read the Old Testament, it was the men that hung around David that were closest to him, they became mighty like him. They became warriors. There was one guy that was able to kill 500 people with just one person, right? And there was many men like that became like David. They were able to slay lions, and that's because David taught them how to do it, right? And David was doing that, was the leader that showed them the way how to do it. He was relational. David's personal and approachable manner enticed hundreds of misfit volunteers to serve him, and David accepted anyone. So give people chances, right? Give people chances in your business, chances to succeed, right? No matter what they've done in the past, God always gives us a chance. No matter mistakes we've made, we can always, correct that mistake. We can always ask God for forgiveness, and he's just to forgive us. And when he forgives us, he doesn't remember our sin anymore. And we walk in freedom, right? So do that for your employees, do that for people you're leading as well. Of course, correct them and use wisdom when you can, but when someone makes a mistake, have mercy, have forgiveness, right? He was resourceful. David made use of every situation and got the best out of it, even in the wilderness. So even when David was running away from Saul in the wilderness, he made best of every situation. That's what we got to do as business leaders, is every situation that we're thrown at. Like today, guess what? Wholesaling is tough. Wholesaling is hard. We have to always, like last year, it was really, really easy before they started increasing interest rates. But this year is tough. We have to go back to sellers all the time and try to get a price reduction. Like we'll send a deal out for 100,000 and all the buyers come at like 70, 60. And then we have to go back to the seller and try to renegotiate the price to get the deal done, right? So today's environment, we have to shift and change, right? Like where I'm shifting, where I'm focusing, hey, we're still doing wholesale deals, of course, but we're doing Airbnbs now, where we're making enough cash flow from Airbnb, where we're making enough cash flow from Airbnb where it pays all the debts, it pays all of our living expenses, our lifestyle. And that's what you want to do too, is like shift, when use the resources that you have, like when a shift happens, right? Like I'm telling people, hey, you got to learn rent to own, you got to learn Airbnb, because there's a shift in the market where less buyers are in the market, less sellers are in the market because of what's going on, right? So be resourceful, make the best use out of every situation, even when it's tough. David resourced his team to become all it could be and able it to succeed. David was rewarding. David quickly shared both rewards and recognition for victory. And that's what you want to do as well. And I'm learning, like, this is, I'm getting all this from John Maxwell Leadership Bible Study, which is awesome. And I'm learning and growing just as much from teaching it to you guys. So I hope you guys get a lot out of this. So he was rewarding. David quickly shared the rewards and recognition for victory. He affirmed his men, motivated them with words of encouragement and spoils from battle. So when you have a team, when you're in this business, you have a team, you got to always motivate them and recognize when people are doing hard work, and reward them and give them recognition for their victory, even as small steps, right? If someone was so scared, like one of my students was so scared that like for years he couldn't talk to a seller and make an offer, and I'm like, and then he finally made an offer to a seller. It like took like 6 months, 7 months to do it, because he was just scared, and that was a victory, right? So we celebrate that victory, even if it's a small victory. You celebrate it, reward success, And that way you encourage others to move forward, right? He was respectable. David modeled a leadership style that others wanted to imitate. Friends and foes alike respected him. People saw in David an example of good leadership, right? So there's bad leadership and there's good leadership. You want to model good leadership, right? And find someone that where you want to be, that's a leader, and you want to model what they're doing, right? And you don't want to model someone that is leading you away from God, right? You want to model someone that's leading you closer to God, right? Bad leadership, I would say, is someone taking you away from what God tells you to do, right? Like I was following someone before that was okay with lying, stealing, cheating to be successful in business. And I started being okay with that because I started following his leadership, right? So that led me to the wrong path, right? So in what ways are you providing a good example for developing leaders? In what ways are you providing a good example for developing leaders in your business? Only way to grow a successful business is to develop leaders within. And the way you develop leaders within this business that we're talking about here today is, hiring employees. Like, you can hire local assistants, virtual assistants, developing them, right? And the second way, how we do it is we partner with people, mentor people, and then we partner on deals, split profits, right? So those are the two ways that we develop leaders from within and develop our business. And we're always growing and learning. I'm always growing and learning, and picking up new partners, and always hiring and letting people go if it's not working out in our business. So we're always developing. We're always looking for leaders. We're always growing, right? And that's what you should be doing as well. So it's eventually, like, the future is like, hey, maybe you haven't even closed a deal yet. Close some deals, 2, 3, 4, 5 deals. And then start building a team, hiring employees, start doing what I do, where you mentor people and JV on deals, right? And then you start developing them, right? And the more people you mentor and JV with, the more deals you can eventually do, because you have 20 or 30 people on your team, and they're all making offers, and you're all making offers together as a team, right? So the more offers you make, the more successful, the more deals you're going to do, the more revenue you're going to make, right? So that's it. So God bless. If there's any questions, let me see. Questions in the comments. Dave McKell, how you doing, brother? Hey, Maria, thank you. Do you need a license? You want to check where you're at. Illinois, yeah, you need a license to do Airbnb management. In other states like Florida, I know you don't. So you got to check where your local, check your local laws first. I'm not an attorney, so you want to check that yourself. Again, we do that through partnerships and hiring employees. So that's what you want to do. In hiring employees, you got to look at it like this: return on investment, right? Like if I'm paying someone $1,000, $2,000 a month, and they're bringing in $0 every month, I can only do that for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? So when you're hiring employees, if I'm paying someone $2,000 a month and they're bringing in $5,000 a month, I'm profitable, right? So I can keep doing that every single month forever, right? Look, why not get a second one? Well, I pay him $2,000 and he's making $5,000, right? So it's a return on investment. So if there's no return on investment with your employee, then we eventually have to let you go. I mean, if we go 3, 4, 5 months without a deal closed, and they're not doing what they're supposed to, then we have to find someone else and move on, right? And then you also do that through partnerships. And partnerships, of course, they're not your employee, you're not paying them, so they work on their own time, right? They work on their own time frame, their own. Some people are great. They just jump in to our training and they're making offers tomorrow, and they don't care about, they're not afraid to talk to sellers, not afraid to make offers, and all of a sudden they're closing deals in 30 days, right? And then there's people that we're going to partner with you, and they need to know everything before they do anything, which is probably the worst thing, because that was me. So they take 6 months, 7 months, 8 months to even start picking up the phone and make offers. You don't want to do that, right? But with partnerships, you just have to let everyone's different, right? So you just have to let the other person learn at their own pace and do business at their own pace. But if you're paying somebody, they better be making 3 offers, 4 offers a day, whatever your goal is that you set for them, they better be doing that every day or else they're gonna get fired, right? Whereas partnerships, I'm not hiring you, I'm not paying you. It's more as, hey, I'll mentor you. It's more as you're gonna make offers as you go. But we can show you what to do and how to be successful. You have to do it on your end. We can't force you, right? So that's it. We're gonna end here. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be live next week here, Monday, at 1 p.m. Central. God bless.